Alright, so I just wrapped up the filming for the February video, which by the time you're seeing this clip will have been out, and you should have watched it. And if not, you can go back and watch it. I have a project in mind. This is one of the drawers that go on the stairs here, and I knew it was gonna happen. It was inevitable. I use things because I expect them to be usable, and then they rip. So we have to do something about this. And what else would we do about it except crochet? So I'm gonna make a square tapestry crochet, and then we're gonna attach it on here, and I'll figure out the handle problem at some point too. So I gotta measure this, put the measurements into Stitch Fiddle, and play around with that. But in order to do that, I had to film this. So there we go. Let's get to it. Hello. So two things. First things first, the drawers. I have made the crochet piece, and I will show it to you in a second. I also broke out the good old purple Elmer's glue stick and just glued those ripped parts and like the loose parts around it down to the like hardboard that's underneath the fabric. Still haven't worked out exactly how I'm going to do the handle, because my goal here is I always intended to make crochet pieces for the other side of all of these from the get, because I assumed my cat Gidget, the tabby one, my brother had boxes that were like the same style as these, and he used them under his bed to keep his stuff organized, and Gidget destroyed them. Just clawed the shit out of them. So I assumed she would also with these. She hasn't touched them. I'm not complaining. It's just, I assumed I was going to have to cover these anyway, and then Gidget was being really good, and then that one ripped, so it's like, well, I guess we're still going with plan A anyway. All of that to say, this is what I made for the front of the drawer. Jesus. Sorry, my brain is like mush this morning. I made this inspired by the Bad Bunny halftime show. I picked the colors based off the Puerto Rican flag he was holding, and just, this is pretty much what he had up on the billboard, just simplified. So, yeah. I don't know how I want to do, like, a handle on this yet. I'm thinking I might just put, like, a handle on the top of the drawer. But step 2 of this would be to put felt over the back. And if you recall, 2 videos ago, I made that abolish ice piece, and I was like, I have to put felt on this, but I don't want to dig out the shit right now. Well, I never got around to doing that one either. So I was like, okay, I've got 2 of these. Let me pull out the stuff and let's do this. I am out of felt. So that's on hold until at least Thursday. So in the meantime, I started another sweater. I should have just made the blue and green one when I wanted to instead of saving it for next weekend, but it's already all packed up in a bag and ready to go for next weekend, and I'm not undoing it now. So I'm making something else. This yarn is Scarfie yarn, so it's like 22% wool, and then the other rest is acrylic. That wasn't a sensical sentence, but you all know what I meant. And I bought this yarn to make a hexagon cardigan. It was the second hexagon cardigan I ever made, and I made it to wear while I was at work when I worked at Target. I no longer work at Target. But I bought like 10 skeins of that yarn. I did not use 10 skeins of that yarn, so I have like 5.5 left. And I am just apparently like all in the February theme. Everything in the last video you saw was hot pink. Now I'm making a heart sweater. So the pattern I'm following is a free one. It's on your inspirations. I will link it for you below. And the way the pattern's written, you like intentionally stripe many different color yarns. I'm not doing that. I'm just going with the one yarn and letting the variegation do the work for me. And the other thing is it's set up so that the front of the sweater has a heart on it and the back of the sweater is just striped. I might make them both have a heart on it like I did with my star sweater. So we now have a front panel and a back panel. I'm going to clip these up at the... I have these clipped up at the shoulders. I tried it on. I thought I was going to have to add more to these shoulders, and I don't think I have to, which is fantastic. I thought I was going to have to add more length. I don't think I have to. Also fantastic. It's wider than me, but it's also, you can see it, it's a little wobbly. Also, this yarn is wool, so if it does shrink, it should still fit. I hope. If I finish this and it shrinks, the only thing I would have to do to fix any issues, provided it doesn't shrink too much, is I might have to make it longer, and I might have to make the sleeves longer. Both of which I can do if I have yarn left. I had two, like, I'm gonna go softball size, or like big orange grapefruit, if you want fruit, because I'm not a sports person. So I don't know why I lean for sport ball comparisons. Grapefruit. I had two grapefruit-sized balls of this yarn. I have completely finished off one whole skein as well as both of those balls. I have most of a second skein gone. It'll be gone as I do the sleeves and the attaching and all that stuff. And I did have to start a third skein just to finish up the corner here so that they both matched. So I am gonna attach this tonight. I'm gonna turn that on because I'm gonna need that over there so I can see with the black yarn. I'm gonna attach these. I honestly, this yarn is kind of like the yarn that I used on the hot pink sweater, or it's not that great for sewing. And because this is oversized, I think I might just like crochet, single crochet things together or slip stitch them together. It feels like the lazier way of connecting things, but with this yarn, it's just gonna unravel as I use it to sew. So in this instance, I also feel like it's the better way to attach them. Yeah. Tomorrow's Thursday, so I have to do like the Thursday things that I have to do. And then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I'll be out of town. We'll see what happens. I honestly, if this isn't done before we leave on Friday, it's not coming with me. I'm just going to bring the yarn to make the sweater from last video. Again, the blue and green yarn, the lava lamp, big twist Rave yarn. I have, the bag is sitting like right there. It's ready to go. So that's just, I'm just going to bring that project. And if I have to finish this when I get back, I have to finish it when I get back. I am thinking, because I tucked this up here just so I have it somewhere and I know where it is and I don't lose it. I'm thinking I kind of want to make like tapestry pieces and then just like do some chains around the back of the door so I can like slide it over and then I'll put the knobs back on through the crochet. Hello. So, it's Thursday. I did the Thursday things, which means I left the house. I got a couple things that I want to share. First and foremost are these big old sew-on snap buttons. And these are 20 millimeter. So they are like nickel sized, I'd say. But the idea, the point, the reason is for this one. I am thinking I want to put one on like right at the top here, so I can clip the neck shut. So if it's windy, it stays shut. So that'll be happening. And since I was in that section, I was just looking at what they had. I think this, which is just 1-inch strapping, webbing, whatever you want to call it. I used some of this to make the handle for that bag, the Gavel Goat bag. So I got some more of that, and I'm thinking this will be my solution for the handles, and I still haven't figured out how I want to attach this to the front of these, but I'm thinking at the top I will put one of these so I can pull it, because it's just a better angle for where the drawers are. So that's that idea. And finally, I have found I miss Joanne's. I miss her so dearly. She was so good to us, and we took her for granted. First, this. I sewed on a button clasp thing, and it does what I needed to do. It keeps that closed, and that's all I wanted for it. I sewed it on with some embroidery thread. That's it. Sewed it on with some black embroidery thread. It is a little, like, rough to open. It's getting better as I open it and close it more, but it works. It functions. It does the thing I want it to do. It doesn't, like, pull too bad on the yarn in a weird way or anything. So that took like 10 minutes. And I did that while we were away. Before I left, I got that much done on the first sleeve of this. I didn't bring this with because I didn't want to pack 2 projects. And then I am there, this far on this. And, it needs to be washed because this collar is very curly. I am on skein 3. I have 6 skeins. I am hoping, thinking, fingers crossed, that each one of the sleeves should be just under a skein. And then I'm hoping this skein, because you do the yoke and then you start counting your rows over again once you do these chain to attach here. So this is 20-something rows. I'm hoping I can get to 30. Would love it if I could get to 35, but if that's not possible, then not possible. I do love how this is turning out. Yeah. That's the update on that. I have good news, I have bad news. Good news, I absolutely have enough yarn. Bad news, I don't know how obvious it is. I messed up. Yeah, you can't even tell on the computer screen. I can though. See if we can't zoom in here. This row right here, I forgot to turn my work. So if you hold it back here, you can't really see it. But I haven't finished the cuff yet. I'm gonna have to tie on more yarn to finish the sleeve anyway. So as much as I absolutely do not wish to do this, here we go. I'm going to rip back to that row, and that's going to be it for tonight. Obviously, I will have to recount where I'm at. This could stop sliding off of me. That'd also be great. This is the end of the same skein I used to finish this entire sleeve, which means we have 2 whole skeins left to, I think it'll be essentially the cuff, and then to finish the bottom. I still don't know if I'm going to have enough to do a pocket on this one like I did on the other one. I'm hopeful. I think I should be able to, but did I not close that? I meant to close that. But yeah, I'm going to rip this out, and then tomorrow I'll finish this, and we'll see what happens. I do really, really well in the mornings. And then, like, my productivity as the day goes on just goes. But, and that's why, clearly I wasn't paying attention. The other thing is this yarn sucks to frog. Very fuzzy, very pilly. And I don't want to do this. But I know if I don't do it now, it will bother me forever. Also, I dyed my hair again. And I just, like, slapped it on over top, which is why there's, like, a giant orange spot here. But all of the purple and pink faded out, and the orange is like, nah, I'm here for life, y'all. But yeah, I was just double checking that I had an accurate row count, and I'm like, what is that? And nobody else would notice, and nobody else would care, but I care. And if I'm going to go through the effort to make this, I might as well make it right. So, I was going to frog this quick on camera, but it's being pilly and awful, so I'm going to go back over in the chair and swear at my misfortunes. See ya tomorrow. I have washed and dried both the sweaters. Be real honest with you. I was wearing the heart sweater for like 2 hours. Is it still a little itchy? Yes. Is the collar on it wide enough that this covers my skin so that the very edge of the sweater isn't touching me? Also, yes. So, let's start with this one. So, got red heart on this side, black heart on that side, and I don't know if you can tell, it's a little crooked. I think it's just the pattern, because they both turned out that way. But, yeah, let me throw this on for you. It is markedly better than it was pre-wash as far as, like, itchiness level as well as the fit. It's just, I don't know why this one is itchy, but the, like, pink one I made in the last video isn't, because that one's 20% wool, and this one's 22% wool. And I don't really think that little 2% should make that much of a difference, but apparently it does. So, this is how this one fits. It's really comfy. As you can see, the like neckline is really wide. I am glad that after the wash it sits down flat, because in the picture of the pattern, and maybe I'll stick that in here for you to see, as well as right after I finished this, my collar was kind of sticking straight up. And I don't know about y'all, but I don't find that cute. So this is how this is. It's nice. It's baggy. If I could change one thing about it, other than making it less itchy, I'd probably make it like 1 inch longer. Personal preference, but this is where, like, how long it made the panels, and, like, it's not a bad fit. I just do this a lot. But that's the back side. And again, it's nice. It's baggy. And yeah, for the sleeves, I ended up doing, I think, 25 rows of double crochet. And then the cuffs are 10 single crochet tall, back loop only. So that was pretty simple. It was just a matter of, doing it. And mostly a matter of, I started it before we left for the weekend, and then had the other sweater, which I will try on now, like mostly done, so I wanted to finish that one, and then I finished this one. If you are going to be a crocheter, and you also have an industrial or a bar of any sort in your face, be careful. Because more than anything, I catch this thing, but it doesn't matter. None of it's fun. So the other one is this, which is just a neon blue and green version of the one I made in the last vlog. But I like the one I made in the last vlog. That's why I made it again. And now, I did say in the last vlog that I don't particularly like the various different stripes that are happening here because of the way this yarn is variegated. I knew that was going to happen when I picked this yarn to do it. I did not know if it was going to do it with the pink yarn. And yes, if I had to pick between the two of them, as far as like how the variegated yarn worked up, I do prefer the pink one. This one's super comfy. I still haven't decided if I want to add a pocket knot. I have a whole skein of yarn. I can. I might. Because I have the urge to put my hands in a pocket that's not there. But yeah, same fit as the last one because it's the same pattern as the last one. So of course it's the same fit. The arms actually did end up tighter. And I don't know why. Because they're the same length around. So these are like very tight to my skin. And I'm hoping it'll just, you know, stretch out a little bit as I wear it. I think it could be the fact that technically that pink yarn was a weight 5 and this is a weight 4 yarn. But I didn't have that issue with the cardigan that I made based off this pattern. So I don't know what to say about that. All right. First things first, I have a finished drawer. I have a finished drawer. Ta-da. This is on there. Nice. And we can even if I make more, interchange them. I figured the Velcro dots was the best option of the things I had in the house. And I think it worked well. So I will refill this and stick it back in the spot it goes and take a picture for y'all. But the other thing I wanted to do was to show you what I am thinking for my next project. And if you'll remember, I had that drawer front that is now attached to where it belongs, just tucked into this drawer door. I cannot speak this morning. Let me attempt that sentence again. If you'll remember, I had that drawer front tucked into the top of this door and just hanging down here while I was pondering how I was going to attach it. And I really liked that. So I want to make 2 pieces to put on these doors. Took the doorknob off so I could put a giant piece of paper up here and trace out the shape of the door. And I have it like half figured out, okay? I have, you cannot see, a bunch of scraps of blue yarn. So that is part 1 of the inspiration here. And part 2 of the inspiration is I recently found a Reddit post that had an archive of like 1,000-ish images from like the backgrounds in Steven Universe. The background, especially like the stylized way those backgrounds look, is something I really, really adore. I also really, really like stained glass, and I feel like these two things lend to each other quite well. So I kind of took a background image from Steven Universe and stained glassified it a little bit. It's really not hard because everything in the backgrounds of that show is really geometric anyway. So I have the top half of this figured out, which is going to be a big old moon and the night sky. And then the bottom half is going to be ocean, but I'm still working that out. And I'm at the point where I feel like if I do the top half, the sky half, and I can get that put together, it will help me figure out what I am doing for the other half. And I'm not going to go about this in a very traditional crochet manner. I'm going to make the moon, and I'm going to make all the little chunks in the different colors. I think I'm going to sew them together, which is dumb because I hate sewing, but I feel like that'll give me the most stained glass feeling with this piece. I'm winging it. We're going to try shit. We're going to see what happens. That's what this is. So I'm going to go start making things. So, as I showed you, I have a plan. And I don't know if it's really coming across here, but I have started coloring in these in. I wasn't coloring the whole moon in because whatever. But all of the parts that are colored in, I have finished, which is like, I'm going to say, most of the sky. Did I sit on the floor all day so that I could easily lay my piece onto that? Yes. Does my back hurt? Yes. Am I going to do it again tomorrow? Probably. Is that a bad idea? Absolutely. So the sides aren't perfect. Also, I'm showing you the back for some reason. The sides aren't perfect, but I think with some steaming and a border, I can fix that. But it's not really visible on that one. It is roughly the correct size. I don't know that the Steven Universe is really coming through, but the stained glass definitely is. I can also always like add some black details with embroidery if I feel like it. But yeah, I just started with this big old circle, just a flat piece, and then I mapped out on my paper where I wanted all these colors to go, and then I just started going for it. Which ones do we got here? Yeah, this one is the only one, I don't know if you could see, that's not following the, like, radial circle lines. As far as the texture goes, this is gonna get pulled up straight, because I have, like, the top, they do this thing in the background of Steven Universe a lot, where, like, the sky just has, like, diagonal color shifts in it, so we're gonna do that. I am questioning this middle chunk here, like the diagonal chunk I have planned, is leftover sparkle yarn from my, like, Starry Night cardigan. And then I have the teal that I bought on accident that I'm planning to use for the ocean. But for something where I truly embraced I have yarn and a hook, and all the rules are bullshit and don't need to be followed. I am now the process. And this is what we got so far. Yeah. I'm hoping I can get the whole sky piece done tomorrow, and then I can figure out the ocean. I am absolutely gonna need to steam the ever-living crap out of this. But, yeah. I'm excited. I'm very excited. So, that's what I got done today. This is very much a project of, like, I am not only not expecting perfection, I am actively rejecting it, because I just want to experiment and explore and see what I can make. So that's what we're doing. We are seeing what we can make. Good morning. I did a couple things yesterday. I finished the, like, sky portion of the panel I'm making for the door. And I did that, and then I pinned it to this board. And I am going to have to add some pieces on the sides. A, because my attempt at making a straight line freehand did not go well. And B, just because this doesn't fully stretch to the 11.5 inches of the door. So I'm going to make some like side pieces to like, and some top and bottom pieces to make it look like it's like in frame. But later, I'm going to finish the whole thing first and then we'll see. I have a couple ideas. We'll see what ends up working the best. I was nervous about putting this sparkly yarn in here, but I really like it. I like it so much, in fact. I now have plans to embroider extra details on here with the variety of things. I might even put like beads and stuff on to make stars. I haven't decided yet. I am just going for it. There's no plan here. There's no... This is pure ADHD chaos in action. So I'm going to steam this, let that dry, and then I have mapped out the ocean half of this piece, and I'm going to get started on that. But progress update. I'm really excited with how this is turning out so far. Ta-da! I'm just kidding. I'm not done. But I did just finish this bottom half. I need to block it. I need to block it desperately. But the base of it is done. I have blocked the top half, which you saw already. But I'm gonna block this tomorrow. And I'm going to like boiling hot water, not boiling, but hot water, and then pin down to the mats and let fully dry. And then I am going to use my beads. I'm going to use, like, I have fun, fancy embroidery threads that I want to use that I don't think I have access to right now. I have, like, tiny little beads I'm going to put up here to be the stars. I want to use more of this sparkle thread and like weave it through the other ones, and just, I have plans. I have grand plans. But it's bedtime, and I just wanted to finish this bottom half before. It's a little crooked on the bottom, but I did my best, okay? For having no plan, the fact that the bottom of this is as square as it is, as compared to the top half, where you've got, like, what is this? What did I do here? I don't know. But, I did just cut this part out and redo it, which is hard, because I crocheted this onto this, which means I had to run a line through here, so that I didn't rip out all my stitches and then whatever. But, it's better. Is better. I'm going to bed. This is going to hang here tonight. Progress. Alright. I have blocked the piece. I have to take all the pins out of it. I put it through the hot water, wrung it out, blocked it out, let it dry, and then I just hit it with a hairdryer just to really hopefully get it there. And now comes the part I am very excited for. So let me show you some of my things, because we are going to embellish the shit out of this. I am going to be using, you know, like all of the yarns I used to make it, as well as some of my other fun things. Like, I have glow-in-the-dark embroidery threads. I have, like, fun silver embroidery threads. I also have this stuff. Come on. There we go. And all of the sequins on here are hollow, which we love. I've got some other embroidery threads. These two are ombre. And then this one is sparkly, like black rainbow foil. So those can all go in the bucket with the rest of this. And then I have all of these seed beads. And I have all of these as well. And then I have a bunch of bigger plastic beads if I want them as well. I'm not sure about those yet. We'll see how it goes. All right. I'm currently wearing 2 compression gloves because my hand hurts. So I am taking a break. Over the last 2 days, I have done one thing, which is the moon. I am very much usually a let's go down the checklist, let's follow steps, let's fix how crooked that camera is. That's better. I'm very much a like, give me a checklist. Please, dear God, give me a checklist. I love a checklist. I love checking things off the checklist. I love having just like a straightforward, do this, do that, and then you have the thing. But I have autism and ADHD, not just autism. So sometimes the gremlins come for me, and they have. So while this has not been my usual process, and therefore I have had some frustrations, I am very happy with where things are going. So I have surface crocheted and added beads to the moon. It will lay flat eventually here, but I have also started adding a couple beads there at the bottom that are going to be, I don't know if they're going to be like moon rays or like the kind of stained glass solder lines, but my hand hurts and I can't bead anymore today. So this is where we're at as far as that goes. So I'm going to add these beaded lines all the way around. I have beads I plan to add into this boring striped section. I don't know if I'm going to add beads in here or if I'm going to do something else. I haven't decided yet. I still really like how the variegated yarn works through everything. And I think this one right here, this was the problem. Because I was not wearing my glove when I did all of this. And then the next day my hand hurt, so I started wearing my glove, and it was like not too little too late. But it's also why I surface crocheted the moon, or tried to surface crochet the whole moon. This is the back side. That's not very helpful for you guys. There we go. There is in here, in the moon, there are like silver and sequin threads. There's also a white thread in there, which I can't show you right now, but it is in fact glow-in-the-dark yarn. So this will glow in the dark, which who the fuck doesn't want that? But I've been having a good time with it. I'm excited to have this just like, you know, living here and being beautiful all the time. So I have a plan for the back and sides. Essentially what I'm going to do is, I can show you, but I have to get up. I would be right back. I have this from our beautiful and forever gone friend, Joanne. So I'm going to cut out essentially a square like this, big, as like a backing piece, and then on the sides and the top, I will cut out extra so that I can fold it down to make like a nice frame, and then I will sew it together by putting it through my machine. But this is like the last step. I just brought this in here to make sure it was gonna like sit well next to each other, and it does. So that's great. That's fantastic. But yeah, I'm just really just taking my time with this and enjoying the process. Maybe less so yesterday. Yesterday did not end with a lot of enjoyment, but we got there in the end. And yeah, it's nice to like just embroider and look at like detail stuff. I love the silver thread in there. That's like supposed to be the shiny moon rays. And then my plan here is I have some really cool iridescent beads that are in like varying shades of blue to white that I want to kind of like the image. So it's like this part and then like the moon reflection part are like two different screenshots from Steven Universe that I've merged together to just kind of get the basic shapes. And then like the rays around this specifically are from a stained glass piece that I will put a picture of somewhere in this video, I'm sure. But in the Steven Universe pictures with the moon like this, I will stick one in right here. It'll have like these little diamond shiny sparkle things to just kind of indicate sparkliness, I guess. And like they do it in some episodes where they're diamonds, and then other episodes they're just like bokeh and just circles. But it's, again, the background, like the style and the backgrounds of the show are one of my favorite things I think ever. So I'm hoping to put like the beads in to kind of give that like where the horizons, the sky and the ocean meet horizon, kind of foggy, sparkly, distancy vibes. But yeah, the hand hurts, so we're gonna listen to the hand because otherwise it's just gonna hurt more, and then I really won't be able to do anything. Hello, everyone. It is Monday afternoon, the 9th, and I didn't touch this thing at all yesterday, to be entirely honest with you. I just gave myself a full break. Didn't touch it at all. I did finish the, like, moonbeam solder line kind of thing I was doing, and I'll show you that. But, that's all I'm gonna do today. My wrists, my hands, like, my joints in general just hurt right now. And I don't want to push it. I don't want to be in pain. It's not worth being in pain over, personally. So, I have done what I've done for the day, and tomorrow I'm going to work on the next part, which is this like little horizon chunk down here. I have plans to add more beads to, but for now, this is where this is at. I really think the like little solder lines add a lot. So, really happy with how that turned out. Really happy. It went pretty smoothly. My hand does not hurt, especially more than the rest of my joints hurt right now. But I don't want to push it. I'm not going to keep going until it does hurt. I'm going to accept the progress I made today. And we will continue tomorrow. Yeah. So, one more full look. You can see them. And this does totally, I tested it last night, and I'll show you later. But the surface crochet in the moon has a strand of a glow-in-the-dark thread in it. And I did, like, put my phone flashlight to it last night and turned everything off. And oh boy, it glows. So I'm very excited about that. Like I said, my next plan is to kind of add beads in this transition area between the ocean and the sky. And it's supposed to be that kind of like hazy, diffuse, like hard to tell exactly where the horizon line is vibe. I'm gonna add a bunch of sparkly iridescent beads in there to see if we can't get that going. I'm not sure if I want to add beads down here because there's so much of the twinkle thread that I feel like it adds enough sparkle and shine down there where I didn't feel like there was practically any at all up in the sky piece. So adding all the beads and the silver thread has helped with that a lot. But I did weave the sparkle thread through the non-sparkle thread chunks in the sky, but I want to add stars of some sort. I just haven't decided yet if I'm going to add them as beads or if I want to use, I have some like tinsel-y embroidery thread that's got a bunch of different colors in it that could be fun for that. Or I have like colored glow-in-the-dark threads. Like the threads are colored, the glow is green for all of them. But I'm pondering. I'll make the decision when I get to that part of the project, because that's kind of how this project has been going. It's just a lot of, oh, I guess we're doing this part next. What are we doing for this part? I don't know. This feels right. Not usually how I approach my projects, by the way. But I am enjoying it with this one. And yeah, I haven't decided yet, but I might take a day just to get like the felt sewn part of this all put together. But we're not there yet. I'm excited to see this hanging on here. I think it's going to be really nice. So I just tried to film, and instead I took a picture and was talking to no one. As you can see, I took the door off, so I'm going to measure out the backing fabric that I want to put on this. I do have this back on the blocking board just for funsies. I did do a bunch of beading in here in the horizon line today. Let's just turn you. There we go. And then I just have this blocking out because this bottom part where I ran the variegated thread through got really scrunched up, and that's not what we want. I know the bottom down there, the like grays, as well as this part behind my head are kind of plain. Two things about that. One, they reflect each other. Two, I don't know if I'm done yet. We might add more. And three, this ended up longer than the doorway. Or the door, rather. So, if I bring that up there, and I grab my door here, it's like, do you see that? I have no idea how that happened. It was originally too short, but whatever. Apparently we've stretched it out. So, I am going to lose some of the sky, and I might lose some of the beach. So I'm not thinking it's going to be an issue. But, I am going to go ahead and cut out. I'm trying to decide how I want to cut the felt out, because I kind of want to, like, cut out the piece that'll be just like this shape, just the square shape, and then I want to do as little sewing as possible, because sewing is a craft that requires a kind of patience I don't possess a great deal of, and I don't want to sew more than I have to. So I'd like to, if I can, kind of cut it out where I've got the square and then I've got flaps coming off each side that I can then fold over to make like a nice, all the raw ends tucked in dealio for that, for like the edging to cover all my lumpiness. I'm going to let that sit overnight, I think, and I think I will also steam it tomorrow. Like, I'm just going to let it sit and relax, and then I'm going to steam at very least the bottom half tomorrow, because a lot of these beads are plastic, and I don't want them to be melting things. So I might not steam the top. The only part up on top here that really needs to be steamed is the moon. She's a little lumpy, but we love her anyway. I'm going to go ahead and turn this sideways again, just so you can see all of it, because, wow, it's a lot to hold up. Come on, what am I stuck on? Me. I'm stuck on me. So yeah, that's where we're at with this. I think it's fucking beautiful. It's been fun to work on, despite the fact that my hand has completely abandoned the plot. So I've been being good, taking breaks, and being a responsible crafter, and you should all be responsible crafters too, because I am nowhere near the model of appropriate crafting behavior. Do not do as I do. That's how you get stupid injuries. But, yeah, this is just gonna chill for a bit like this while I ponder the other parts. I don't think I need to add beads on the bottom because there's so much of the twinkle yarn, and I know that's probably not showing up real well. There's some, I feel like you can see it better, but like the twinkle yarn down there I feel like is really carrying it a lot, and the matte yarn kind of gives more the moon glow reflections. But you are welcome to disagree with me. It's in my house and you're never going to see it in person, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah, I'm done with this for today. The other thing I am trying to figure out and make is flat. Lie down and I'm making a bag with the lyrics for Paris Paloma's newest song, which is called Miyazaki. If you like Florence and the Machine, you will probably like Paris Paloma, and I do recommend you go check out her music. But her new song, Miyazaki, is about something that all artists are frustrated about right now, and it's about AI and the fact that you need to get that shit out of our spaces because it will never make art the same way the human soul can. And it's named Miyazaki because Miyazaki of Studio Ghibli fame has a quote out where he essentially says, "I will never incorporate AI into my art. I think it is an insult." And I agree with him. And so does Paris. So I'm making a bag with some lyrics from that song, but I am having some trouble selecting my colors. So I've been working on that for the last 24 hours as well, because crocheting doesn't hurt my hand for some reason. I don't understand. But that's my update for you. Alright, please excuse my mess. I've been having a week, okay? Doing my best. But I've been having a week. As you can see, that is still blocking. I did cut the felt down. Woo, go me. And I did work on that, and I finished the front panel. I'll show you that later. But I have a lot of blue yarn left. And, like, I didn't expect that to use up all my blue yarn, but, like, whoa. I have a lot of blue yarn left. So I have acquired 20 different blue yarns. And I have also acquired my dice. So we are going to, quite literally, roll for scrap. I'm going to take a picture of this or something, and I'm going to number all the yarns. So I have all of the sparkle teal yarn that I bought by accident when I was finishing up my Starry Night cardigan, and then the actual color I needed, what I have left over from that. That's also the navy blue. That cake is also the other yarn from the Starry Night cardigan. It just has like eraser shavings on it, if you're wondering what those gray spots are. The red heart skein that's flat and sad back there is from both my planned pooling blanket and then also that wavy polar fleece I made. I have no idea where any of those are from. These skeins are all like partially used or half used. These blacks I bought for like the Scene Queen and Electric Slime Big Twist Rave cardigans I made. I bought them for like the cuffs and ribbing and stuff, and I have no idea what else I'm going to use them for, so they're going in this pile because I needed 20 colors and I only had 19. And then these are the 2 purples that I also used in that. So yeah, I'm going to number all these. I don't know if I'm going to record all of the dice rolls, to be really honest with you. Again, I'm having a week. And it's just, we're going to get through it, and I'll be better once my brain evens out from whatever ESC fit it's having right now. But for right now, I don't know if I'll be recording all of the rolls. I will at least write them all down and like stick a picture in here with all of these numbered, but I'm gonna rearrange them so like this blue and this blue are like next to each other, because knowing my luck and knowing how I do things, if I put them on like opposite sides of the dice, I'll get them back to back, and I don't want that. They are different. I did look. They are slightly different, but they're both like navy blue, you know? Or I guess that's navy blue. These are more like royal blue. Whatever. I think I'm feeling just like a massive granny square. We'll see how far I get. If depending on, I mean, I got a lot of yarn here. I don't intend to use all of it, but you know, depending on as I run out of colors or not, I may try to make another one of these, which was my little shrug where I'm gonna pause for a second and then we'll be back. This giant granny square is just folded in half, and then I sewed up the sides to a certain point, and it just has armholes, and it's a really nice little shrug to just throw on when it's like wet outside, so it's just damp and you have a little half-assed chill. It's real nice. So depending on how all of these blues go together, I might just be making another one of these. It might be a lap blanket. I don't know yet. I just feel like making a giant granny square for some reason. And I have all this blue yarn, so here we go. So as I laid these out to put them in an order and number them, I realized, you know, granny squares get bigger as you go, and like, duh, thank you, Captain Obvious. But I put these 6 first. These, like, hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, because these are the 3 I think I have the least of. Those 2 are pretty decent sized, and so are those 2 balls. And there's a couple little ones with the purple, and like don't focus on my finger, focus on there. There you go. Like I got a couple of smaller balls here and there, but there's like bigger chunks with them. So for these first 6 rolls, I think I'm just gonna grab a traditional 6-sided dice. We're gonna roll that once, no repeats, and then after that, I'll just open it up to the whole 20 if there's any of those 6 left. But yeah. And then once I run out of yarn, we're out of that yarn. We move on with life. If I roll it, we skip it. And yeah, I don't know. I sincerely doubt I'm going to use up all this yarn, but we'll see what happens. Alright, so like I said, the first 6 rounds we're doing is just going to be the first 6 colors I have listed here. So I rolled a normal 6-sided dice, and we did the rows in the following order. 6, 5, 2, 3, 1, 4. After that, I got rid of the 6-sided dice, switched over to a 20-sided dice, and we did number 12, 16, 19, 17, 3, 7, 18. Then we rolled a 4. 4 did not get all the way around, so I rolled again and got a 13. But that doesn't count as using 13. That was just to finish the row. So after that, we had 1, 15. Then we did the whole row as just 13. We got number 2, and again, we ran out. So I rolled again, and we finished that row with 7. Next row was number 14, then 5, 6, 10, 20, 11, 8, and 9. And so that was the first 26 rolls. What I have done so far is, like I said, I did the first 6 rows here with the 6 colors I had the least of. So did those, and then I completely restarted. So for the next 20 rows, so this is 26 rows as it stands, completely started over with like the numbers. So I made it starting, so let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So starting with this dark color through to this light color is all 20 colors again. And in doing this, we have 2 rows where I used up all the yarn. Can I find them? Right here is one. You can see it changes over. And then right here is the other one. So for these 2 rows, when I rolled the second color, that didn't count as the color for these 20 rows. So like here, I used navy blue, which I then used again here, and then that one's black. And then on this one, I used the variegated, but I had already used the variegated down here. Now that I have done 26 rows, I counted I call it the Taco Bell shrug because I made it and I showed it to my brother and he looked at me and he went, "That looks like a 90s Taco Bell." So that's just what I call it now, but it's the granny square one I made that's purple, pink, and teal. I counted that and it's 43 rows. So I think I'm going to take this up to 45 and then turn it into a shrug. But for the remainder of rows, I think the only rule I'm going to abide by is to not do the same number back to back. Like, I don't want 2 rows with the same color. All right, the remainder of the rows went as follows. We rolled a number 8, we rolled a 7, rolled 3, finished that off, and finished that row with 16. Row 30, we rolled for 13, 16, 14, 19, 10, 8, 14, 6, 17, 15. Row 40 was number 7, then 11. Row 42 ended up being 3 colors, so in order, number 5, number 1, and number 18. Then the next row was number 8. Row after that was a 6, which finished off that, so we finished that row with number 9. And then the last row was 18. All together, we finished off colors 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 10. All right, hello. So I finished the last row. I have sewn up the sides to turn it into a shrug. And now I just have to deal with, where are they? Here they are. All of the ends. It's not all of the ends. Where are they? All of the ends. And I will. But my plan for the rest of this video, because it's the 17th of March all the fucking sudden, is number 1, tomorrow, I am going to finish the door thing. I had it like sitting there pinned on my floor for felt like a week. It was probably only like 3 days. I steamed it yesterday and then set it to dry. So tomorrow I will unpin it. I found a tutorial, which I will link below. And it's how to bind your quilt with the quilt backing, which is essentially what I want to do with the felt. Is like, put a backing on it, fold the edges over so it's nice, and it has, I think I'm only going to do the 2 sides and not the top because it ended up too long. So I'll just use that to my advantage, and I'm going to make like straps so I can just kind of slide it over the door. But that's a tomorrow me problem because I don't have the brain function for that right now. It's too late in the day for math. And sewing is math. It just is. So, tomorrow. But I am going to probably spend the rest of tonight with the ends here. But I am considering adding something along the edge. I don't know if I want to add scallops or ribbing or what I want to do, but I do want to show you how much yarn we used up. So I started out with 20 different piles of yarn. So we got rid of, I think, 9 colors altogether. Most of the balls of yarn got used up, which was really, really nice. And yeah, I did, like you can see there's still 2 big balls of the teal sparkle, because that was essentially originally 2 skeins. But I did use up all of the loose balls I had of the sapphire sparkle. This color, and Cinder, what are you doing, silly boy? The 2 balls that are left, I actually took out of my mom's stash, so. And then, like, the purples and the blacks I just included to round out up to 20. And, like, yeah, those are essentially the same color, but I counted them as 2. So, we got rid of a decent chunk of yarn. That's all I'm saying. So, I'm going to consider that a successful project. And that's that. I know that this video is going to be, like, weirdly long because it kind of starts in the middle of February instead of the end of February. But, there's nothing I can do about that now. I could release the second half of February at the end of March and then release all of March at the end of... I don't want to do that. Because then we'll just be a whole month off and I'll get... I mentally, I have to keep going. We have to pull this train into the next station. And I'm sorry if that means a really long video. But for me and my ability to continue things, it's just got to happen that way. I did it. I did it. I did all of the ends. There are no more ends. I am thinking that I perhaps wish to add ribbing to this. I was looking at it last night. There's a ton of examples on Pinterest if you just look up, like, granny square shrug. There's some with ribbing, there's some without ribbing. I'm leaning ribbing. I was leaning ribbing last night, and now it's done, and I just kind of had it on, and I'm like, but the other one I made doesn't have ribbing, so that kind of makes me want to do it on this one just to see. But this is our big old pile of ends that will go in my bucket for future Ami stuffings. I still have to work on the thing that's going to go on the door over here, but sewing is math, and anybody who disagrees can meet me out back to have a fight, but sewing is math, and I don't feel like doing math right now, okay? I just don't have the mental capacity to be doing math right now, so it's not happening, because I really like that, and I worked really hard on it, and I don't want to fuck it up by making myself do it to get it done, and I won't take the amount of time and patience and care and to do the math. You know, the whole measure twice, cut once, don't fuck it up nonsense that needs to happen when one is cutting fabric and sewing things. And I just, again, I need to be in the right headspace. I'm not. I did like 2/3 of these last night, and the last third took me until now, which is 12:30, so all morning. And it's just, I'm not, I know myself. I know the level of work I do when I'm in this kind of mental headspace. And I worked so goddamn hard on that piece with the beading and everything. And I'm so happy with it. I'm not going to let myself ruin it. Sometimes knowing yourself is truly the only way out of situations like that. And I know myself. Today's not the day to be working on that, so we're not going to be working on that today. Hello, everyone. Despite what that might indicate in the background, I've been working on this. Let me see if I can roll. There we go. I have the sides sewn on. I haven't dealt with the tops or the bottom yet, but after breaking out all of the things and a gidge, apparently, I can do it. There she is, just barely in the door. Isn't she dumb? We love her though. After breaking out all of the things and doing my best to get this as even as possible, I decided, for a couple of reasons, that it was the true nature of this to be hand sewn together. So that's what I did. One reason was I didn't want to be running beads through my sewing machine. I didn't feel like that was gonna end well for anybody. And two, it's everything about this so far has been just hand sewn, hand worked on, and it felt the most appropriate way to go about it. Before I do the top and bottom, and the reason I haven't done the top and bottom is I'm going to take advantage of the fact that this is now a tube. And I'm gonna, I think, put some interfacing in here. I think it will be for the betterment of the project as a whole. But I don't know if I have any. And if I do have any, I don't know if it's enough. So, that's that. But I am so... Do you ever just make something and you're like, I made that? I made that? I made that. Holy fuck. I am good sometimes. And that's how this whole thing makes me feel. It's stunning. I love it. I'm so excited to just have it up over here all the time. Not that you can see, because that's not where the camera's pointing at the moment, but oh, I'm so excited. But yeah, and it's so nice. It's so sparkly. I mean, I'm also super thrilled with the giant granny square shrug I made out of this same collection of yarn. But, yeah, especially because I've got, like, a ring light up here so that I'm not shrouded in darkness and backlit only. And it just, like, the way it's catching all the beads and stuff right now, oh, it makes me so happy. It makes me so happy. And part of the reason that, like, I started doing this, and I was thinking about it while I was doing my hand stitching, which is why I bring it up, that I think I felt like I wanted to do this is, not that she needs my recommendation. Her channel is doing fantastic, but if you're looking for someone who's super fun and upbeat to watch, and you like sewing, or you don't care about what somebody's making, you just want to enjoy their content, I highly recommend From Carly B. She's an Australian sewist, and her videos are such a fucking delight to watch. Like, I just sit down and I'm like, I am ready to have a good, fun time when I watch her videos. And she does a lot of machine sewing, but she also does hand sewing, and she talks about how much she loves it and how much she loves to just sit there and be, like, with her project. And yeah, that was like, before I picked up crochet, I did embroidery. That was my, like, craft. So I'm not unfamiliar with this concept, but it's just I've been doing the crochet, and it's been such a just continuous, fun, enjoyable thing for me to do that I forgot how much I like sitting there and hand sewing and just I am trying to make a conscious effort to ruminate and enjoy and take the time to enjoy the things in life I enjoy, the good things, because there is such an unending slog of negative shit anytime you turn on a screen. So, yeah, I'm just sitting here and I'm looking down at this and I'm holding it, and it just it makes me so freaking happy. So I am going to go, I have to trim down these ends here so that I can trying to figure out here how I gotta do the corners. And try and make those look nice. So that might be a little fiddly, and we'll see what happens. Oh, I see what happened here. I'm just looking at the wrong picture. Okay. I gotta trim it down so I can fold it over so the raw edge is inside. And then just fold it again and line it up, and Bob's your uncle, as the saying goes. And then I have to figure out how to attach this to said door. But first I gotta go see if I have interfacing. So that's the update. The felt is not, I don't think, my number one choice, but of the things I have, I could have had worse options. And I got it all pinned, and I was looking at it, and I'm like, But it's kind of like when you're making crochet clothing and you have it all clipped together, and you're like, I don't know if the fit on this is quite right, and then you sew it together, and it's so much less bulky, and it just lays there, and you're like, I was worried about nothing for no reason. So I'm hoping, hoping this turns into that. But, yeah, interfacing. I have to go find interfacing. Ta-da! It's not perfect by any means. Feasible interfacing requires the ability to use the iron. Fleece and acrylic are not iron friendly, and so I don't really know how to solve this problem at the moment. But as far as how I attached it, command strips. I used like 8 of them. Like 16 total, but like there's one in the middle, and then I cut one up in half for each of the corners, and then there's big ones along the vertical. But I think it looks great. Is it perfect? No. Was it ever gonna be perfect? No. Is it pretty? Am I proud of it? Yeah. I think it's stunning. And you don't have to agree. Yeah. I did also have to go get a longer screw for this, and I did have to snip a little hole in the back of the felt, obviously. But, it's a little bit longer than the door, it's a little bit taller than the door. I still think this is so beautiful. I'm so happy with this. And now I just get to look at this and enjoy it and have it in my home. So, yeah, the method to get it on the door, not as good. I was originally planning to kind of do straps down the back, but this is so thick at the top here and at the bottom that it doesn't really allow for that. So, obviously this means I have to do the other door. But that's an eventually problem. That's a future me problem. Today, I have been editing up this video that you will see this clip in, and I can't sit there and just listen to myself. I have to be doing something. So I was doing things, taking care of stuff. I fixed my light that sits on my desk, which makes me very happy because it was a very simple fix. Anyway, I decided to break out the ironing board and the iron and the towel, and I reread the fusible interfacing directions, and I steamed the unholy evilness out of the door piece, and it is so flat and nice and just the way I should have done things from the beginning, but I didn't. But it's fine, because now we're here. So I'm gonna show you this again, because now it's nice and flat. But first I have to clean something up, because it's a mess. Pause. Unpause. I should plan ahead better, I am aware. But look at how nice and I mean, that doesn't help because it gets caught in there, but how nice and flat this is lying now. And down here, it did exactly what it needed to do, which was just kind of tie all of the yarn pieces together with an excessive amount of adhesive. But, yeah. So it's not it's kind of sagging and puckering in spots before, and it's not doing that now. So, I just wanted to include this so you all could see it, because it is, the way it should have been, the way I should have finished it. So yeah, that's my quick little update on that for you.